It's spooky season. We're back. Ooh. Are you did I scare you yet? Okay. No. If you want more shitty scares, click that subscribe button for shitty scares. I'm John Stark from ActMovieGuy.com, and this is a Halloween season review. We're gonna be doing this all month long. Reviews of horror movies. Or, you know, family-friendly horror movies, for like kids and stuff. But this is Hellfest. This is not for kids. So, hopefully the title kind of clued you in on that one. If you're a parent and Hellfest, the title, made you question, should I take my child to this? You're probably a really fun parent. I'm wearing a Gremlins shirt. I know it's kind of Christmassy, but Gremlins count, right? Like, you can watch Gremlins during August. It's one of those questionable franchises like Nightmare Before Christmas, where it's like it kind of works in both seasons. It's like it works for both. So, anyway, Hellfest is from the director of Black Mass and Paranormal Activity: The Ghost Dimension. Wildly different movies. I don't even know how those two things became. And then he's back to Health. I don't get this dude's filmography. I don't understand what he's trying to say or do, but cool, bro. Cool story, bro. I watched this on Tubi, and I should also admit to the fact that I'm recording this right at the end of September, and I'm really sorry if this left Tubi and is not available anymore. I do not know what their pull sheet is for this month, so you're going to see this in October, which is the appropriate month in which to watch this, and I'm hoping Tubi doesn't pull it. Because everything else on Tubi is absolutely, it just looks terrible that they have audio description on. Like, I don't know what they're doing. They're like, we're providing audio description for the worst movies possible. Anyway, Hellfest was released theatrically in 2018. I don't know if you know this, but it was. It is a cast of largely unknowns, except I am a fan of somebody in the cast, which means immediately I was drawn to one character, and I was like, you can fucking kill that character, I swear to God. But I actually really love Bex Taylor Klaus. I think she is immensely talented. Actually, I think they use they, them pronouns. So, they are immensely talented. And they're not the lead, which like the whole movie I was like, if you kill Bex Taylor Klaus, I swear to God, like the whole movie, that's all I was thinking. I didn't care about any of the characters. I was like, do not kill, no, don't do it, don't you touch her, you leave her alone. I was like so interested and involved in this character, but it's just a group of kids. Basically, if you've ever been to Halloween Horror Nights, or something like-minded like that, that's like a big sort of a horror theme park for Halloween, but like legitimately produced, not like kind of, I know some people just kind of like throw up and they're like, oh, we've got a scary pathway in the woods for you to walk. No, this isn't that. This is like a legitimate, it's got like rides and stuff for you to get on, like actual rides. So it's like if a quality carnival came to your town, but also happened to be horror themed. Anyway, so there's a group of friends. They don't have a whole lot of backstory. I mean, honestly, they really do not have a whole lot of backstory. Like 97% of this film takes place inside the theme park. There's like an opening scene where you get slightly introduced. Actually, there's an opening kill scene from like a previous year that they allude to, that they talk about, that the kids like, they're like in the know. They're like, remember that one year when they found that like dead body? And it's like, well, this is the dead body we saw in the opening sequence, so cool. And then we have this one, like, introductory scene with the characters where they're like chilling and they're all like, "Oh my god, I still like him. He's so cute. Oh, you should like him. He is cute. He totally likes you too. Oh my god. Oh my god, this is gonna be so amazing. We're gonna go to this thing together and we're just gonna like hang out like the whole time. It's gonna be amazing. Let's just do it." It's like, it doesn't really make you like anybody, and it doesn't distinguish any real personalities. It's just like, oh my god, here's some teenagers, or you know, early 20s people, like, or like early college age kids, and they're gonna go off and do something because that's what horror movies are about. So they do, and it does not work out well for them. Otherwise, this movie would suck totally. And there's a killer who stalks them throughout this theme park, but they can't tell if he's part of the scenery or not. Yeah, you know, is he a scare actor or not? And that's supposed to be sort of the gimmick, because he wears a mask. And see, the thing is, knowing what I know about things like Halloween Horror Nights, I know that this guy never would pull off what he's pulling off, because somebody else who works there would have noticed that that there's somebody who's off-brand and is in a costume that's not approved, wandering around, you know, would have been caught. Somebody would have stood up to him and just been like, "No, you can't. You can't be here. Sorry, bye." You know, they know what their looks are and what their looks are not. So I guess this place just is so shittily run that they're just like, I don't know, maybe he could be one of ours. I guess. Do we have creepy dude with skin-looking mask walking around with ice pick? Is that one of our costumes? Yeah, maybe. Okay, all right, cool. So yeah, he just walks around. And the cool thing about this movie is we're going to remove who the killer is right away from the mix. They show you who the killer is. He doesn't have a mask on at the beginning. He puts a mask on. In the first opening kill scene, he has a different mask, and then this time around for this year, he uses a new mask. What does it mean? I don't know. It's very mysterious. Does it mean anything? Will they ever tell you if it means anything? Probably not. And he puts on his mask, so you get to see his face as he puts on the mask, so you know this is one of those weird movies where it's like, are my friends killing me? Is it one of my friends? It's not one of their friends. It's not. So you don't have to spend the whole movie going, which one of you is it? I don't know. I'm very stressed. And you get to follow this guy with his ice pick around. He seems to have an MO, and then the film just kind of says fuck it. And that's kind of why I don't like Hellfest. The film kind of because it has an establishing scene, which doesn't really serve the plot of the film. It would be so much better if there wasn't an establishing scene. I don't know why they did it. Like, the opening scene actually kind of makes the movie worse, because the opening scene shows him going in and killing one person, and then, like, that's the urban legend, is like 3 years ago this carnival came to town, and they killed, like, one girl died, and they found her body in the parking lot. You know, like, that was it. And she had a certain look, certain type. And he comes in and he starts stalking this one girl that's not part of the main group, who looks very similar to the girl he stalked last time. And meanwhile, the other kids are kind of like watching him. They think it's all like for show, right? They think it's fake, as does literally everyone else. That's the thing that this doesn't explore, is the fact that there are like literally hundreds of people walking around and they all think this thing is fake. So the fact that he would pick these other kids, like, why? You know what I'm saying? Like, why did he pick them? Like, why would he follow them around? They're not his MO. They don't match what he did before. I could go into spoilers and explain all of the reasons why this film doesn't work, but I'm here not to do that, so I can't tell you who dies or how they die or anything like that. This film is like a 5.5 on IMDb, but it has like a 20 Metacritic score, and like, from a horror perspective, I'm trying to think of like why horror fans would like this. I think it's because it has that sort of like worship of horror. Like, it has an understanding of what horror is because it takes place in sort of this horror festival, right? So the audio description here was fantastic from William Michael Redmond. And not only did we get solid character description of the killer and his mask to creep you out, but you also get told anytime he changes a weapon, which he does do in this film, he doesn't kill everybody with an ice pick. And you also get what the festival looks like. You get a lot of the sets and the monsters and the costumes and the other scare actors and what they look like and the things they encounter, even down to the details of like what the stuffed animals that they can win from these carnival type prizes look like. Everything is really well described in there for horror fans, for fans of, there isn't like a unifying, there aren't like brands in here, you know what I'm saying? Like, Michael Myers and Freddy don't pop up, but it seems to very much understand its target audience, as does the festival itself. So that's the thing to appreciate here, is that it has a good understanding. But once it gets into the film, the filmmaker has absolutely no idea what he's doing, which is pretty clear to me, considering the 2 horror films that he's directed suck, and then the 1 non-horror film that he's directed is really good. So he should just stay away from this genre, because this is not his genre. He needs to stay away from horror films. It's disappointing because, you know, I suppose some people like the idea of a horror film that's unpredictable and has no set of rules, you know. But the slasher genre has lived and died by a set of rules, and always having, you know, it being pretty easy to kind of follow and figure out, and you know, like who gets to live, who gets to die, who's this, and when you do that, it becomes sort of more surprising. But this one just kind of meanders, like people just kind of die. Without directly spoiling, I will say that there is a character death, and then like the next one after that is so unceremonial. It's just like, literally, he spends so long stalking one of them, and then just kind of turns around and and just walks away. It's just like a half second is spent on the other character, and it's so lazy. It just doesn't. There aren't even that many of them. You know, this group is so small that he spends such a profound amount of time walking very slowly around and following them through this festival. This guy does not move fast at all, ever. He just constantly it's like the thing from It Follows, just like moving around the thing. So when you have this scene where he finally gets to one of them and he finally kills one of them, and then like this other one shows up and it's just like bam, dead, you know. It's just, and then like there's so like little fanfare on that death. It was just like, woo, we're moving on now. It just felt like it didn't fit in with the rest of the movie. Like they couldn't figure out a creative death for that character, so they were just like, well, he's dead now, and then just bye. I was like, okay. Yeah, it's really just not a great film. It explores some interesting ideas in a horror film, But it doesn't really follow through on them. It wants to. It thinks it does. It's like it thinks what it's doing is smart, which is like the worst thing for a horror movie, is when it thinks it's clever, but it's actually not. Like nobody stopped to tell it you're not clever. Stop doing that. Just leave it alone. I don't know. I'd love to do a spoiler review of this, but I don't want to ruin the entire film. I've already mentioned the fact that there's one scene where 2 people die, like, in rapid succession. But the reason I mention that is because I'm talking about how this film has no rules. It doesn't follow anything. Like, it sets up that this guy has an MO at the beginning, right? He has a certain type, and then he just abandons that type, and then just decides, you know what? 1 kill a year is not enough for me. And I'm done with blondes. I'm just going to go off and... These people seem fine. And there's, like, all of these other people in this whole festival. I mean, they could have made Hellfest with this killer just, like, walking around and just gutting random people the whole movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just finding ways of disposing their bodies so that they look like the scenery. This film could have been really interesting. It's just not. It's like the opposite of interesting. Luckily, it's really short, which is, because it has nothing to say. So when films have nothing to say, it's really hard for them to maintain any sort of a runtime. This is under 90 minutes. It's less than an hour and a half long. So at least it's not going to waste your time doing it. But I don't think this is very interesting, and a very weird way for me to start, like, kind of be kicking off this Halloween season. But I wanted to make sure I got different things in from different streaming services and with audio description, and Tubi's selection is just dreadful. I didn't want to watch any of the films that probably fall under this purview except Hellfest. So, yeah, it's, I would not recommend this. I don't even think it's scary. Is it gory? I guess. Sort of. Maybe. There's one death that I would say qualifies as gore if they showed it the way that the audio description describes it. But other than that, not really. It's pretty standard slasher stuff. Honestly, I feel like some of the stuff that is not actually murder, but is more of what the horror theme park set up, is probably grosser than how a lot of these people died. There's a scene where there are 2 parts of this park. There's the part where the actors cannot interact with you, and then there's a part where they have to sign a waiver, and then the actors can touch them, like the scare actors. So, of course, they go into the other part. Because, duh. But... anyway, there's a part where they have to get a map, or they think they're getting a map anyway, and it looks like the maps are like inside the intestines of like a corpse, right? So I mean, that to me, with like the intestines hanging out and everything, even though it was fake, probably looked gorier than all these deaths that actually happened, the real deaths. So I would think, from what I surmised. Anyway, I don't think you need to see this. If you want to, if you're just, sometimes people like bad horror movies, this would be one of them. This, like I said, this film has nothing to say. It doesn't even maintain its set of rules. It has a really bizarre ending too. Like a really just it thinks it's. I really want to know what the director was thinking with the beginning and the ending of this film, because the bookmarks to this film are just like, what is going on? Like, what is happening here? I just don't understand. I don't get it. I have so many questions for the filmmaker. I have so many questions. I should have done a spoiler review for this. I should have just been like, guys, we're gonna spoil this, because the devil is in the details here. I'm just gonna tell you, there's not much to see here. I did like Bex Taylor Klaus, but again, she is a character that would have survived a horror movie. You know, she is not afraid of anything. She's smart, and she has survival instincts and everything when it comes down to it. So it's one of those characters that generally survives a horror movie and does not get killed. So she gave me exactly the performance that I was hoping from her. But I can't, as much as I love Bex Taylor Klaus, I can't even support this film. But please hire Bex Taylor Klaus because they're amazing. So, I'm going to give Hellfest, though, I'm going to give it a D+. If it wasn't so damn short, I think we'd have a bigger problem. If I had to sit through a little more of this film, I think that grade would be lower. But luckily, it's quick. But it really has nothing to say. Yeah. So, anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I do have a website, MacMovieGuy.com, where you can check out my reviews. You can also follow me on X, Insta, and Threads, all at MacMovieGuy. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org, and let you know what has audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the adna.org. That's the adna.org, and let you know who's narrating your favorite films and television series. Or you can just look up William Michael Redmond and see what else he's been narrating. That's it. I will review something else, and it'll be spooky. And, well, some movies won't be. There'll just be random movies still releasing in October, but I'm trying to do a spooky movie every day, so be prepared. And I will see you guys on the other side. Or will I? I don't know.